Thanks for joining me on this video. If you haven't done so already, be sure to hit the subscribe button as well as the bell notification icon. That way you don't miss out on any new content on the channel. And also be sure to follow me on these other social media platforms. Links are in the description below. I'm back. Good morning, have and have not fans. It's bright and early here in Lynchburg. It's not even 8 a.m., but I woke up, good mood, had a good episode last night. And yeah, let's get down to it. You know the drill. We're going to go ahead and play the trailer for next week's episode of Father's Regret. We're going to come back, break it down, and just talk about what to expect on next Tuesday.
Where's my dad? Is he okay?
Tuesdays. If you thought your ex was bad,
Do you know anyone who would want to harm him?
Yes, me.
look out, because no one gets vengeance like Veronica.
This night keeps getting better and better.
The crazy keeps coming, so don't miss a single wild, wicked, what's gonna happen next moment.
This stuff I got, it's not from a regular street dealer.
I promise we're gonna get even for this.
I have the money.
Lord Jesus.
All right, and that was the trailer for A Father's Regret. And to be honest, I love I say this almost every Wednesday when I'm doing the trailer review. The narration is what really makes these trailers stand out. It's like, if you think you had a crazy ex, I mean, come on now. But not much to talk about, but again, that's not a bad thing because sometimes the episode gives us surprises we didn't even expect. But you know, we pretty much let me just start where we left off. It looks like Malik is still chasing Hannah around the house. Even Candace and RK are in the van, and Candace is like, what is taking him so long? And I'm not gonna lie, it's not funny. But when Hannah took that frying pan, I almost lost it. I mean, all I could think about was Rapunzel from Rapunzel and Tangled, when she would use the frying pan as a weapon, and just it was hilarious. But yeah, it looks like Malik's just going to be throwing her around like a rag doll, going to tear the bed up, and he's like, what did he say? Give her the money. And she's like, Lord Jesus. And that was pretty funny. But yeah, that's pretty much where I expect us to pick up where we left off. And it looks like this episode is going to take place at night. So it looks like everything is going to be during the same day. We have Jeffrey arriving at David's house. The FBI is there. Then here we get to like one of the funniest parts of the trailer. I'm going to assume these are FBI's agents and maybe a police officer. I don't know, but I'm just going to guess based off the suits that they're FBI, because you know they arrive at Veronica's house. Looks like the guy flashes his badge, comes in. Veronica is getting the news, most likely about what happened to David and Erica. And the fact is like, do you know anyone who would want to hurt your husband? I do. Me. And I'm just like, okay, maybe she, as Benny asked her in the last episode, how much of that stuff you had to drink? Apparently a lot. And then as she says, this night keeps getting better and better. My guess is that, you know, he starts rattling down the list of, okay, well, there was a car explosion at your ex-husband or soon to be, let me just say, at David's house. And it's like, go on. And there was a woman who was unfortunately killed. Go on. This night keeps getting better and better. And your husband was caught in the explosion as well. And I want to know if Veronica learns that David isn't dead, but, you know, is in the hospital. I really want to see what her reaction to that will be. And then we have, you know, switching over to the hospital scene. Looks like David, I mean, he said his legs hurt, so I don't know if we're going to have a Diary of a Mad Black Woman scenario where Charles is in a wheelchair and Helen was taking care of him. I don't know if that's going to be the scenario for this David's situation, but it wouldn't surprise me if David isn't in the hospital for the remainder of this season. Just because his back looks pretty banged up. I know when they were rolling him into the hospital at the beginning of the episode, I was like, damn, you know, Erica is like extra crispy, but David's back looks like, you know, because I've always been a picky eater. I think I said this maybe one or two times in a video before, but like when it comes to hot dogs, like off the grill, I don't like burnt hot dogs. Like even if a hot dog has like, you know, the black burnt spots on it, I peel it off. I remember that as a kid. That's what his back looked like. You know, part of the back looked really black and whatnot in the beginning of the last episode, most likely due to like smoke and all that stuff because he was pretty damn close to the car. So I'm guessing in this episode coming up, it looks like they pretty much did their best to like clean up his back. So they're treating it to prevent scarring. explaining why, the paramedics just put him face down on the gurney instead of on his back. And then we have Jim and Jeffrey both at the hospital. I'm going to take a guess and say that Jim is going to get to the hospital before Justin gets there. And, they have a little embrace. I really did like that. The fact that Jim knows that Jeffrey's grieving because, well, his father's in there. And now, Jim's friend is in there. So they give each other a brief hug, which I like because it's one of those scenarios where, Wyatt is pretty much distant and doesn't want anything to do with his father, while, Jim can appreciate a son that does love his father. So I think that's pretty good dynamic there. And, Jim goes in there. We're going to get even with her, I swear. And then I think going back to Jeffrey being in there, Justin shows up, and based off what they say, is like, I don't want you to hurt my daughter. Hurt my mother or kill her. It's like, no, I was just trying to teach her a lesson. Do you think that Justin reveals the truth? That he was the one that tried to run Veronica off the road? I think that's where it's going. Because if that's the case, then Jeffrey knows enough information to tell Veronica to shut down both Justin and RK if he wanted to. Because remember, Jeffrey knows that RK attempted to rob him, and then if he tells Veronica, she's going to be pissed, and then at some point we'll discover that she's missing some jewelry. And then on top of that, Jeffrey could tell Veronica that Justin was the one that attempted to run her and Melissa off of the road, which once again would be enough for her to take him down. So I feel like Jeffrey is holding on to a lot of information. I don't think it's going to come out anytime soon, though. That's what I think. And going back to the jail, Jim visits Wyatt. He's still going on, most likely because he wants some, drugs in his system. Not much to say on that. It's like, that's pretty much it. Like, you want to kill me, huh? That's pretty much it. And then Justin comes over once again, teasing him. I doubt he gives Wyatt anything. Not to mention, I don't know how that would work by giving him drugs in an open cell with a bunch of other people in there. I'm pretty sure somebody would yell about it. So Justin is just teasing him. That's the only thing I could think of. And another thing, a brief thing I didn't mention in the episode review because I didn't get comments on this until after I was asleep. People were wondering, why is Wyatt the only one in the orange jumpsuit, like prison attire? My guess is because he was in that straitjacket. So maybe he was escorted to jail in the straitjacket and they didn't give him. Wait, does that mean his clothes are still back at the psych ward? I honestly couldn't tell you. That's my only guess because he was in a straitjacket and they just put him in a jumpsuit and that was it. That's all I can think of. So there's that. Let's see here. We get a brief scene of Benny waiting for Candace at the hotel. That's pretty much it there. And I think that's about it. The last thing was, of course, the ending of the actual episode preview where Catherine's like, I hate that bitch. She always comes up with the best ideas. I should have done that to you. That's after Jim tells her about the exploding car. And that was hilarious. To be honest, that would have been interesting if, let's say, Catherine put a bomb in the red sports car that Jim gave Candace from the blackmail. But, of course, that means Benny probably would have died. Because, remember, he was borrowing the car to go on a date with Darcy, the nice girl from church. So, there's that aspect of it. But I think it's pretty funny. Overall, next week looks pretty damn good. I am going to do a video because some people were messaging me, or I saw this in Facebook groups about how this has easily become the Veronica show, which is both a good and bad thing. So I do have a few videos I want to get done before next Tuesday. Yes, I know Love Is had their season finale. Then didn't Greenleaf come on last night, 11. I could have sworn they weren't coming on until the 28th. So I don't know. I'm not going to lie. Like, as soon as I finished the episode, I hooked up my microphone. I did my episode review. I threw it together and put it online before like 11. So right after I finished that, I went to sleep. I didn't see anything else. But guess what? Like I said before, I'll just catch up on these episodes later this week and do reviews. But thanks so much for tuning in. I hope everyone has a wonderful Wednesday, because I'm going to it's 8:05 now, so I should have this up on the channel around 8:20. So again, I hope everyone has a wonderful Wednesday. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll talk to you all soon.